Since he was sworn in, President Trump has signed executive order after executive order after executive order. There are a few of them. The biggest is probably the one that deals with DEI. This order is called Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity. This order says the federal government shall terminate all mandates, policies, and programs that promote diversity, equity, or inclusion. The president's order says promoting diversity and making sure jobs and programs are available equally to all people violates civil rights laws. So he's getting rid of them. And the policy of the United States from now on, according to Trump, will be to promote individual initiative, excellence, and hard work. This move will likely stop federal programs that help female or minority small businesses. Lots of federal workers who were overseeing DEI programs were laid off from their jobs this week, and this order directs the Attorney General and the Secretary of Education to possibly pull funding and grant programs from schools and colleges that continue to operate any sort of diversity, equity, or inclusion program, or anything that even resembles one for students, whether that's in the admissions process or anything else. The order goes a step further and orders federal agencies to compile lists of public companies, universities, and large foundations, and perhaps take civil action against them if they have any kind of DEI program or a program that even resembles a DEI program.
My administration has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. And these are policies that were absolute nonsense throughout the government and the private sector. With the recent yet somewhat unexpected great Supreme Court decision just made, America will once again become a merit-based country. You have to hear that word, merit-based country.
Hello guys, and welcome to today's video. In this video, we're going to talk about DEI policies and the executive order issued by Donald Trump to conclude them in federal institutions. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please consider subscribing and also liking this video so that it may be able to reach a wider audience. And so this past week, we have seen President Trump calling the DEI policies nonsense and saying that America wants to go back to merit-based hiring, saying that people will no longer be hired based on the color of their skin or anything else, and that people should be hired based on their qualifications and abilities. And so before we proceed, let me just first roll a few clips and get to hear what people are saying on this matter.
Okay, so this headline has been going viral for about the past day or so, and people are understandably upset and reasonably asking questions, so let's talk about it. First and foremost, there are a few things that people need to understand. Number one, your protections against discrimination, specifically in the workplace, did not start in 1965 through an executive order by the president, nor did they stop being modified in 1965 by the same executive order. So where do they come from? Your protections against discrimination in the workplace are either constitutionally based or they come from legislation passed by Congress. Notice neither one of those two things mentioned an executive order from the president. So where's the confusion? Let me explain it. Federal discrimination acts like Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 already prohibits employers from discriminating on the basis of race, color, religion, sexuality, a number of things. And that's only been modified throughout the court system over the years to include things like age and disabilities. So if all of that came from the Constitution and federal discrimination acts passed by Congress, what did this executive order actually talk about? This executive order basically mandates that federal contractors and federal contractors only have to have affirmative action programs in place in order to keep their federal contracts. This doesn't mean that now that this is revoked, that these same companies can start going out and discriminating on who they choose to and not to hire, because that's federal law. That's part of the Constitution. That has already been decided by the courts that it's illegal. So no, this has nothing to do with that. But you can expect to see a lot more misleading headlines like this because companies and people and blogs get paid to post stuff like this in order to stoke division.
So let me get this straight. We have domestic terrorists marching in the streets and running people over with their vehicles, and the Department of Homeland Security is worried about hunting down existing DEI programs and stamping them out, as if this is a useful use of their time. A leaked internal memo obtained by independent journalist Ken Klippenstein revealed that DHS sent a memo to their employees today labeled DEI programs, and they said they are radical, wasteful, and accused them of dividing Americans by race and causing discrimination. It also called on employees to report any attempts to hide DEI programs programs through coded or imprecise language. Reports must be sent to a government email within 10 days or employees could face adverse consequences. Huh? The memo also warns against disguising DEI efforts, which some see as an attempt to intimidate and silence workers. It would really be a shame if we all sent an email and reported what we saw. In fact, today I saw that there's a DEI hire in the White House right now, and his name is Elon Musk. Honestly, there are more important things for y'all to be worried about, and I truly hope that this administration gets to work on the things that actually matter very soon, like lowering the gas prices, lowering the grocery costs, all the stuff that they said that they were going to do on the campaign trail. Get to work. What's going on?
Now, I want to point out that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 still prevents employers from discriminating against their employees based on age, gender, color, or any other thing. And so these executive orders have had people up in arms. Others are saying there's misinformation, but others are saying that these policies helped the minorities to get equal opportunities in organizations. When President Trump says that people will go back to merit-based hiring, it means that he believes that people are getting hired just because of color and not because they are qualified. But let me give you a scenario. Let's say a company is advertising for a position and a white person and a minority person shows up to the interview. They're both qualified. They have the same number of experience for the job. And in short, they are both qualified for the position. Now, let me ask, in such an instance, do you think the white person will be hired or the minority person, just considering that they are qualified both and they have the same qualifications? What I think is that it is more than likely that this white person will be given the position despite the minority person having the same qualifications as them. I'm not saying it is obvious that that is what is going to happen, but I'm saying it is highly likely that that is what will happen. And this is what the DEI policies prevented or helped people of minority, let's say women, people of color, to be able to get in certain positions because it was mandated that they be hired or that the company has equal number of whites vis-a-vis minorities. And so when these policies are removed, I think it's going to affect how people are hired. Now, what we have to remember is that people are the ones who are hiring in these organizations. And so most of them will hire based on their beliefs. And so now imagine there are no policies to counter what their beliefs are. We don't know if there will be equality or not. And this is what the DEI policies were there to prevent. People are arguing, like, why are people up in arms? If they are qualified, then they should just apply. But the truth is, as I said, and in the example I gave, if a white person and a minority person applied for the same position, both being qualified, it is highly likely that this white person will get the position. No matter how we slice and dice it, that is the most likely outcome. Now, we have seen stores such as Target and Walmart get into the mix because they were so quick to follow the instruction by the president. And what is funny is that Target, when the George Floyd matter happened, they said that that thing was so close to them and they're with the people, that is the African American people, because their store started in Minneapolis and that incident happened there. And so people are wondering, if that matter was so close to your heart, why are you so quick to accept to remove your DEI policies? And so people have been up in arms saying that they're gonna boycott Target and also Walmart. And so many people are advising that people should go shop at Costco because Costco still has their DEI policies upheld. And so now let's roll a few clips.
Target has joined the growing list of companies scaling back their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, following the likes of Walmart, Meta, and McDonald's in retreating from these commitments like the low-down, dirty, gutter-snipe cowards that they are. The retailer announced it will end its 3-year DEI goals, cease reporting to external diversity-focused groups like the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, and discontinue a program aimed at promoting products from Black and minority-owned businesses. These changes come despite Target's expanded DEI efforts following the murder of George Floyd in 2020, a tragedy that the CEO previously described as deeply personal for the company, given its proximity to Minneapolis, where the incident did occur. So let this serve as a reminder that many companies only supported movements like Black Lives Matter when it was convenient and profitable. Their so-called commitments crumble under even the slightest pressure, revealing their true motives: profit, not progress. This reeks of the performative woke consumerism that many of us have been warning about for years. These corporations were never truly invested in systemic change. They were invested in optics, and now, as DEI programs face backlash, these companies are turning their backs on the very values they once supposedly championed. To be clear, this DEI rollback isn't about government interference. Even with the recent actions by President Donald Trump to end federal DEI programs, these corporations are choosing to abandon their initiatives. They don't have to, they want to. They'll try to blame boogeyman Trump, but we know better than that. As more companies inevitably follow suit, we as consumers must hold them accountable. History will remember them not as leaders in equity, but as the cowards who prioritize profit over progress. Let this be a lesson. We should never forget who truly stood with us and who folded when it mattered the most.
So hey there, Target said they don't want our money. So you know what? Everybody should say, let's not go there. They are not DEI friendly. But you know who is friendly? Dear old Costco, who absolutely has a DEI friendly. They are there for the people, of all kinds of people, and there is a lot of opportunity for everyone. So Target is no longer that, and they don't want our money. So let's just move forward and go somewhere else.
You know, we're so quick to want to say we're not a monolith, but you know what? On some things we should be. Unfortunately, today, there will be black people, more black people, who are going to go into a Walmart and go into a Target. Then there'll be black people who intentionally will not go into a Walmart and Target under protest because of Target and Walmart and the way they roll back their DEI programs. See, some of y'all, unfortunately, you need to see this in order to feel like you're not wanted. But what you fail to realize is when these companies and corporations roll back DEI programs, what they're saying is we don't value the diversity. We don't value the advancement and career opportunities for having black people. We don't value the numbers that negatively reflect the advancement and how black people will thrive in this country. And since some of y'all are struggling with doing the math, let me help you. The opposite of focusing on diversity is embracing the systems that don't prioritize diversity. Millionaires and billionaires are making business decisions. They know by openly announcing they're rolling back their DEI programs is good for business. Sadly, that they would probably face a more negative backlash from Trump supporters because a company continued to embrace DEI programs than it would be from black people who are upset that they now taken them away. What does that say? And what does that tell you? That tells you that they know that you are likely to still keep coming to their businesses, where they know a Trump supporter would stand 10 toes down and would not come support their business on principle for not supporting Donald Trump's directions. If you are walking in Walmart today, if you are walking in Target today, understand there are racists all over the place, and there are people who absolutely support Donald Trump. And when they see you in there, they know you have to be one of two things: completely uninformed, or you don't care. And honestly, as a black person in 2025, I don't know which one is worse. At one point in time, you have to understand the power of your dollar actually makes a difference. Where you spend it and where you don't spend it. It's inconvenient to have to either buy things online or to drive further to get things on principle. But what is your worth to you? Being denied other things, we've always been resourceful. If you weren't going to let us have salmon, we were going to have catfish. If you wouldn't give us access to tenderloin, then damn it, we'll have neck bone. You won't let us have lobster? Well, damn it, there's more crawfish. Now, see, these were my sports icons growing up, right? These were my goats. My goats were activists. Activists mean you are active. They were willing to stand up, use their platform, and risk it all because of what was happening to their community. Our goats are not built the same. The problem is here, folks, and it's not going to fix itself. While some of y'all are in church praying for change, others are in church thanking God for Donald Trump. Yes, change requires inconvenience. Your dollar is your power. Right now, they're doing what's good for them. Right now, they're doing what's good for business. Their business. And it ain't going to ever be better for you until you learn to stand on yours.
All right, Chismosas, it's official. Me and Target, we got beef because Target just came out and announced that they're scaling back their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And out of every company in the world, this is one of the last ones I would have expected to do this, because you guys know every Pride, these MFs are out there with their rainbow flags and just like their whole section for Pride. Every Black History Month, they have their section. Every month for Hispanic Heritage Month, every time there's something, they're involved, right? They're wanting to make a buck. So now this doesn't make sense. The math is not mathing. And look what they had to say about their new initiative. Many years of data, insights, listening, and learning have been shaping this next chapter in our strategy. And as a retailer that serves millions of consumers every day, we understand the importance of staying in step with the evolving external landscape now and in the future. Okay. Now, I don't personally understand why they didn't make this more simple for everybody who's reading this. They're just bowing down to what the government wants them to do, and they don't want any smoke from them, so they're not going to push back. That's essentially what they're saying here. But you know what? You do you, Target. I'm going to go and run over to Costco and get what I need because you're done. You're done. It's over.
Now, what will happen to these minority-based businesses if people totally withdraw from Target and don't go shopping there? Because to be honest, they still have to maintain their shelf space, and to do that, they have to get people buying their products.
Okay, so I know you saw the news about Target, okay? Everyone's like, oh my God, my favorite retail store. So one of the things I want us to think about though, Marissa, who did Retail While Black and Target While Black on Instagram, made a great point tonight that I want to share with you. She charged us with being more targeted in our shopping. One of the things that she knows this retail space, she's been talking and working with brands for the last couple years. And one of the things that most people don't realize is that the brands, when they're in a store, they are responsible for moving that product in the store. So if a brand, Black-owned brand has inventory in Target and it doesn't sell, that Black-owned brand is basically they're charged a chargeback. They are responsible for the cost of not selling that product. So yes, we want to boycott all these stores, but the list is getting long. And so instead of boycotting them completely, I want us to consider, I'm not saying you have to, but I want us to consider possibly being more targeted in what we buy in those stores. So that means if you live somewhere and you got to go to Walmart, you're buying the Black-owned brand in Walmart. You're buying the small business in Walmart. If we're going to go to Target, that means I'm going to buy my favorite Black-owned brands in Target. As long as they're in these stores, they still need consumer dollars to make sure that their product moves and they are not hit with a bill that is astronomical that could really be detrimental to their bottom line as a business. Because a lot of these businesses in these stores are still small businesses. So that's just something for us to consider. Yes, you can go directly to the website. I do that sometimes. I'll just go directly to a brand's website. But as long as these products, as long as our favorite Black-owned brands are in these stores, we want to focus on shopping Black and shopping small and consider just being a little bit more targeted in what we buy when we're in those stores. Just food for thought.
Be in an emotional state, but also a smart state. Because if we start doing I'm not shopping there, and it's our businesses that are in there, that's their way that they will clean us out and replace us and say, well, your business is not performing. That's what people want. We can't give them what they want. Okay? I hope that this is making sense for somebody. I ain't telling you what to do. I'm telling you what, as a business owner, what we still need until we can get to another place, right? Don't allow foolishness to take us into separation and weed us out. As frustrating as the whole situation is, as frustrated as I am, as all of you are, we still got to be smart. Now, you can still go into those stores if you choose to and buy specific brands that you want to support and let the other things, right, not get your money.
But it is impossible to go in Target and not just shop any other thing, because you go in there to buy one thing and you end up having a cart full of products that you didn't even plan on buying. But also something I want to say is that Target is such a huge store. They don't just have one stream of income. They have multiple streams of income. So I don't know how this boycotting will really affect them. And also, for the boycotting to work, it needs to be for an extended period of time. It cannot just be a few days and people are back there in shopping, which for this to happen, so many people have to partake in this boycott, and not just minorities, which as it stands, we don't know how many people minus the minority are willing to stop going into Target. So that is also a factor that will play a huge part.
So while my mic is still hot, let me tell you exactly why I believe that the Walmart boycotts will never work. First and foremost, it lacks a unified specific goal. That DEI policy is all over the place. It also lacks strong leadership. And in order for a boycott to work, you have to have long-term participation. The Montgomery boycott worked because it lasted over a year. They did not ride that bus, and they were the primary users of the bus. That means once the primary source of income stopped, they had to pay attention. And also, Walmart is a giant. Walmart has a diverse revenue. Walmart does not just receive money from their stores, not just from Walmart. Do some research and see all the different brands that Walmart actually owns. You would be surprised. In order for you to cause significant financial impact, you have to be able to impact all of its revenue. And Walmart is very diversified. And in my opinion, is Walmart the only one that needs to have a DEI policy? If we need a DEI policy, what is the DEI policy? Who is it focused on? Is it just one group? 2, 3, 4? How many issues does it address? See? And that is the very problem. And that's why I say I don't think it will ever work. Sorry.
Now, another question is, what about the employees, those that work at Target? They will be able also to lose their source of income, because if people are not going into Target to buy, then it means these people have no work to do. So let's see how this will pan out.